guys. Welcome to Fishbowl Roulette, the podcast of random questions with seemingly random guests, but always interesting ones. Today, my guest is Jordan Janet with arguably the best hair in Cape Girardeau, Missouri, maybe second to Jeff Bruni. We don't know. We'll have to get a side-by-side. Maybe I'll put that up on the website so you guys can vote. This podcast is really just conversation. It is regular people talking about things in their life. Zero prep. We are pulling topics from fish bowls and diving in and going with it. Welcome, Jordan.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
And I appreciate the hair comments.
You're
if
welcome.
I'm rivaling Jeff, then I'm in good. That's good company.
You're doing okay.
I'm good there.
You're doing okay. So, all cards on the table. Jordan is married to Megan Janet, whom I work with.
That's what I'm famous for.
You are famous for that. 3 daughters. Works for Delta Concrete as the divisional sales manager. Sales manager.
Which Delta Companies.
Oh, sorry.
We don't have the concrete plants anymore.
You don't?
No, we don't. We were kind of known for that, and now we don't even have that anymore.
Now it's just Delta. Well, so what does that even mean?
Just Delta.
Well, what do you guys do?
So we are primarily an asphalt paving contractor.
So we're going to talk about the roads?
Yeah, we don't have to.
Oh, we're going to.
Parking lots, you know. Primarily an asphalt paving contractor, but we also sell our materials that we produce for asphalt paving, rock and hot mix asphalt, to anybody that needs it.
Okay.
So that's where I come in as division sales manager. Is kind
like
of
all over the country?
Not all over the country. We have to stay pretty regionally. Asphalt's only good for, to a certain temperature, so you can't take it just anywhere and everywhere. Now, rock, I'd love to sell it all over the country. It doesn't expire. It's still rock when it gets to wherever it's going. So
that makes sense.
Yeah.
And you've only worked for Delta since you got out of college.
That's right. Yeah, I'm one of those wild weirdos that's just been working for one company since I graduated college.
How long is that?
16 years.
That is kind of wild.
I know.
Good for you, though.
Oh, thanks. I haven't made them mad enough to get rid of me yet, I guess.
And they keep mumping you up. That means one of two things. You either failed in your old spot and they just moved you up because they didn't know what else to do.
Some of that could have happened.
Or get out of here. Or you're a rock star like your hair.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
I'll just keep coming back to the hair to make it
That's
weird.
All right. I'm good with that.
Megan's going to be like, you can't come to the office anymore, Jordan. Sandra's got a problem. So we are here today to just dive into a fishbowl.
Great.
So the way this works, the guest bowl is built to you-ish, right?
All right.
And then everything else is beliefs, hot topics, wild card. There's a warning jar.
Yeah.
The warning jar is kind of what you make it sometimes. It's interesting how people receive the question and where they take it.
Okay.
So I will just let you pick.
I haven't listened to anybody diving into the warning jar yet.
That's kind of new.
Okay. All right.
You also host a podcast.
I help. Yes. I help. I co-host. Right. So Seth Stevens has started a podcast in relation to our business and our industry. Just kind of highlighting the people that we work with. So we kind of do some profiling of those individuals just so that we can get names out there, get our industry out there. We talk about, we get out in the weeds a little bit, we talk about their path and how they got to where they are. And when we hear something interesting that we want to unpack a little bit, and then we do that. We talk a little bit about, business development, leadership development, corporate culture.
Yeah, I listened to one when Megan told me that, and it was different than what I expected.
Yeah?
Yeah, I was like, a podcast about asphalt? Come on.
Yeah, that sounds, I can understand the lack of draw to that.
But it wasn't about that. I think it might have been leadership development.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of, which is, a great topic.
Well, and part of the reason, which of course, when you asked me to come join you here, I would have said yes because it's you. But also the spirit of your podcast and your idea that you've got here, that's kind of what we're after, but we tie it into, the business highlight at the same time. It's about having a real conversation. And I think the draw to podcasts in general is that individuals can connect with people anywhere they want and anytime they want because they're listening to a real conversation, right? Those are the podcasts that people are, well, me personally, I guess I shouldn't generalize, but those are the podcasts that I'm connected to anyway.
Yes, me
too. I
can
hear a real conversation.
Yeah, me too. And that's really how the idea sort of came to fruition was Jeff Bruni and I talking and him saying that exact same thing. And I was like, well, what if we did it like this?
Yeah.
I get feedback, and you probably have had some feedback too, where people are like, it's like listening to a friend, right?
Yeah,
it's like overhearing, and then they get a little something, and you just kind of go with it.
Yep, that's what I like about it.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. Me too. Okay, so speaking of, where are we starting?
Ooh, What's a good one to start with?
I don't know. They're all pretty good. I've been
you put them
freshening
together,
them up.
so you're okay. You've been freshening them up.
Them up, but there's stuff in here that's been in there too. So
we'll go here
knows?
first. We'll start with this. Make it easy, maybe.
Tiny font.
Oh my gosh. What separates a good contractor from a great one in today's market?
Oh, this is how you get fired.
Bit, yeah.
Don't name names.
If you're from Delta, please do not. No. So we talk about this quite a bit. I think there's several ways to approach this. First and foremost, you've got to provide a service, and oftentimes that's around building relationships, right? That separates you from the others because the end product, not always, but oftentimes is very similar or the same, especially in our world where, a rock is a rock. And yes, sometimes there's some quality differences there, but it's the service that we provide and it's the relationships that we build.
Yeah.
Outside of that, kind of unpacking it a little bit further, in today's world, information is so much more readily available and communicated. If you are not dynamic and changing with that and in tune to that and using it to your advantage, you're going to get left behind. So just the changing and the dynamics of any business, that's in any industry today, but especially in construction now more than ever, because I think we were probably a little bit behind for so long, and now all of a sudden it's like, tech's here, we gotta use it to our advantage and keep up.
I know, but to your point, like this is something that I'm kind of watching. I kind of feel like all the industries in the world are sort of flip-flopped. I was there for long. Everything was like tech.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's like, how do we combine the relationship with the tech?
Yes.
So that they enhance each other.
Yes, exactly.
Right? So how does a great contractor do that?
Oh, gosh, that is a good question. So, we do try to utilize technology to arm us with information so that we can be dynamic enough to get in front of those relationships and use that to our advantage. Can we figure out what would help our customer, right? Utilizing the information that's readily available to us. And it's becoming more and more readily available so we can become more and more prepped before getting in front of our customers. And then on kind of a creepy note, it's like I can find out some stuff about people before getting in front of them so I can build a connection with them whenever I do get in front of them, right?
Yeah.
And that wasn't available 15 years ago.
No,
like
you'd have to
today.
stalk like yearbooks or something.
Yeah.
Right?
You have to go around asking people about them,
the 7 degrees of separation, but now
I can find it 10, 15 minutes before I walk in somebody's door.
What's funny is when I don't find anything on social media about anybody.
You got to work hard at that, right?
Yeah. And I'm almost like, they're either the most genius person in the world or they're in
exactly
the mop, right?
That's
there's
exactly
no
right.
in between. I'm like, what happened that you have zero footprint?
If you're a ghost today, that's an accomplishment.
It is.
Yeah.
It really is. It's interesting. Huh. Okay. So good contractor, great contractor. It goes back to what it has always been, is the relationship and how to give the best experience.
We talk about that so much. Yeah. You've mastered construction. Congratulations.
Are you hiring?
Come on.
Are you hiring? I'll call you tomorrow.
Okay. All right. Deal.
Okay.
Deal.
All right. Where do you want to go next?
I don't know. Let's try wild card, huh?
Okay. I hope it's about aliens.
Oh, aliens. I could do that.
I know. Do you believe in aliens?
Well, I'll tell you if it comes up.
Dang it.
Sure. Love, a choice or a feeling?
Oh, that's kind of interesting.
That is interesting. You could approach that several different ways, couldn't you?
You've probably walked that decision. How long have you been with Megan?
Oh.
Don't get it wrong.
I'm not going to get it wrong, but I was 16. I guess I got to tell you that. Can I just tell you the story? Is that all right?
Yeah.
Let's tell you the story.
Tell us the story.
So I was probably 14 or 15, and I think I walked into my aunt's house, and you know how people send Christmas cards, and especially in the early 2000s and 90s, everybody put them on their fridge, right?
Yep.
So I saw a picture of her family, of Megan's family, on my aunt's fridge. They worked together. My mother-in-law now and my aunt worked together.
Oh, I did not realize
teachers.
that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was like, dang, Tammy, who's that?
Who's that hottie on your fridge?
She was like, nah, Tammy thought she was younger. My aunt thought she was younger, that Megan was younger than she is. And she was like, she's too young for you. Don't even worry about it. Well, then my aunt has used to have these huge sing-along parties that we've kind of carried the tradition on in my family. But she was the originator of these Christmas Carol sing-along parties. And, of course, Megan and her family were invited, and we ended up kind of sitting next to each other and got to know each other there. We went to
How you doing?
Camp. Yeah, one of those things. Pulled that out. We went to camp, Kanakuk camps out near Branson, Missouri, that next summer. And
Together?
Not intentionally, but our parents just randomly signed us up for the same term. And so we rode the bus together from St. Louis all the way out to, they have this big Greyhound bus that they fill with kids, and your parents just kind of send you on the bus. Hey, we'll see you in a week or two. Yeah.
Right.
And then, that's kind of how we first started talking, whatever you wanted to call it, in 2002 or whenever that was.
I knew you guys met early and stayed together, but I didn't know it was.
And
that.
we did. We broke up a couple times somewhere in there, but then the interesting thing. So, and the reason I wanted to tell you that story is because it relates to the question here, right? What I tell people, the reason that Megan and I'm obviously every relationship has its imperfections, which makes it a great relationship, a real relationship, right? Nothing's
Great
ever
point.
perfect. But I think the great thing about Megan and I, at least what worked well for me and what worked well for her, and again, it's not the same for everyone, is that we kind of grew up together. So we were able to kind of, she was far more, looking into the future and maybe a little more put together as a young person, as a teenager, and in college than I was. I thought I was, but I wasn't. I was still a guy, so you don't really
Still broing out.
Yeah, I was, kind of doing that. So, but once we were in college and we decided that, hey, this is going to be a thing for life, right? This isn't going away. And then
5 years in,
right?
4 years in, you're like, well, we don't know.
But at that point in time, obviously love is a feeling, but it's also a choice in the sense that you've got to make it a value and a priority. And if you don't put into that relationship, and everybody's got to put in 100% of that relationship, and that's when it has really grown to what it is today. And I'm more and more in love with her every day and every year. And it's more not because we're perfect, not because we don't argue, not because we don't, see, or that we always see eye to eye, because that's not the case.
I work with Megan,
But it's that we choose each other no matter what through all that. And we've been through ups and downs. Even I'll be 40 this summer. So, I mean, that I don't know if that sounds old or young, but, at 40 years old, you've had your ups and downs.
Yeah.
Not all of them, of course. There's still plenty more to come that we don't know about, but we've had some. We've been through them, and we're still together through it. So.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because I remember seeing that question, and arranged marriages have this higher success rate than in love, whatever that is, American, whatever you want to call our way of doing it. And a lot of that, if you read about it, is because they're actively choosing, and then the feeling comes. And I think sometimes here we expect that feeling to last forever, and we forget to do the things like you talked about that show your partner that you're choosing them.
Right.
And vice versa. I actually just had a conversation with Bob, not this deep. We're long distance, so we start every day and end every day together. That's
Great.
A priority. And he also has a lot of work phone calls that he takes because he drives for an hour. And so he called me like he always does, but I could tell he was like getting off the phone really fast.
Yeah.
And it just hit me wrong. And I thought, I'm not a check mark. We don't do that. We are really, really diligent about that. And so I talked to him probably 30 minutes after that because I knew he was doing the calls. And I'm like, hey, listen, it's very easy to start taking each other for granted.
Right.
And I did that. I don't want to do that again.
Right.
So, yeah, that's cool. Good for you guys.
And to your point, the story you just told, and you knowing my wife, you guys do that. You both do that where, if you see something that's off, we're going to talk about it. Right. And I'm not as good at that as Megan is. So that works. Yeah.
No, that's good. Yeah, Megan listen, I told her today, I was like, you're going to be on the podcast. She's like, no, I'm not. I was like, yeah, you are.
Please get her in.
Yeah. There. Oh, this will be as close as I actually get her as you're saying it. But like, Megan's no BS. She's quick to just take care of it.
Yeah.
Whatever that is.
Yep,
I mean, it makes her an asset in the office on our team and makes her an asset as a wife.
That's absolutely right.
And a mom.
Yeah. And she makes, she's made me a better person, and hopefully I've made her a better person. I don't know if I have or not, but
you guys are a team. That's always very evident.
That's exactly right. Yeah, we do that.
Yeah,
we do that. We try to anyway. We don't always get it right, but we try.
Yeah, well, we can't always get it right for sure.
Right.
So, okay, let's see. What about?
No, you want to pick one for me? I'm not. I'll let you do that.
Well, let's see. Let's do beliefs. Let's just see.
Let's just see what happens, huh?
Yeah, let's just see what beliefs has.
Are these like all the same questions just over and over again, or are there actually different ones?
No, they're all different. Why does everybody say that?
Well, I don't know, this takes a lot of effort.
Well, you just feed the bowl every week.
Should billionaires exist?
Oh.
That's an interesting one. I was just listening to a podcast this morning a little bit about this topic.
Yeah. How much of the wealth do the billionaires have in the world?
Oh, my gosh. I don't know.
If I had my phone turned on, I would be able to Google that. I have learned that when I ask questions like this, and I don't know
you need to write them down.
And I don't know the answer. Yeah. I have people listening who are now messaging me the answers.
That's great.
Which is awesome.
That's great.
Which is awesome. Okay, go.
Should they exist? Gosh, that's I do believe that if you worked to obtain what you've got, or even talk about generational wealth, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe that individual didn't necessarily work for what
right.
they have, but somebody in their line worked for what they have, and they chose what to do with that, and that's their choice. Should they exist? That's a culturally, that's a tough pill to swallow. Like, all X percent, to your point, of the world's wealth is in this small percent of people.
Yeah,
right?
and I do actually think it's a crazy number, like 97% or something.
Yeah, and that is nuts. But I guess I feel two different ways about it. Too much of any one thing is never a good thing.
Yeah.
Right? It doesn't matter what end of the spectrum that you're on, in any topic, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I also feel like, hey, if you worked to achieve something or obtain something, that's your thing, and I'm not here to take that away from you.
Right.
So
it's an interesting, the word should is
that's what I struggle with too, because that's where I brought the cultural piece into it, where it's like, yeah, that is, sometimes that's tough to think about.
Because in a free society,
mm-hmm.
extremes happen.
Right.
And so I take that question and I go, well, do I not want to be in a I am going to say air quotes because I don't really know where America's at right now, but a free society.
Uh-huh.
And because the other extreme is true too. So should
That's
billionaires
right.
exist? Should homelessness exist?
Right. Yeah.
It's much easier to say homelessness should definitely not
exist. Yeah.
Right.
That's an easy one.
And then, then I always default to what the businesses that they've created that
mm-hmm.
employ people, that fund charities, that do all of the things. But I have people close to me that they're adamant that billionaires, that is abhorrent.
Yeah.
They should not exist. And when you listen to them, you're like, interesting points.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I always default to freedom. Yeah. And unfortunately, with freedom comes extremes, and they're not always positive.
That's right. You're exactly right. And as I said, extremes are rarely good. Right. Right. And I'm not saying that there's not billionaires out there who aren't great people, and I'm sure and certain that there absolutely is. But yeah, I also believe in hard work and merit for making smart choices and even luck. Right. I mean, sometimes you fall into it. And
well, I mean, I'll Jeff Bezos and his first wife. Yeah. Like, she partnered with him when he was still in a garage. Yeah. When Amazon was a bookseller. Yeah, right. And ultimately they got divorced. I think she got 4%. Mm-hmm. I think that's right. I might be wrong. I read an article and that's the way I read it. She can never outgive that. Yeah. Because of what that company is doing. And she gives away a ton of money. Billions, and billions. And she'll never outpace it unless the company would just suddenly explode.
Yeah, that's wild to think about, right?
Right.
4%.
4%.
It's wild.
Yeah. Yeah, the power of compounding.
That's right.
One of the things that I have learned in the industry that Megan and I are both in, that it's a theory, but wealthy people and poor people talk about money kind of the same way. They talk about it in terms of resources and trying to get more, and they teach their children how to do it. Different ways, different mechanics, very different levels, but it is the same. Like, here's how we make sure that we keep our lights on. Here's how we have toilet paper. Or here's how we make sure we have, it's coming from a very different perspective. Wealthy families teach their kids about money and how to maximize what they have and how to do that. And who does not is the middle class.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And I don't know why that is. There's a real fence
Well, maybe it's you know, if you're on the wealthy side of the spectrum, you have it because you made your life to a degree about it, right?
Right.
And on the other side of the spectrum, you oftentimes make your life about what you don't have, right?
Yeah.
But maybe that middle class, you know, they're focused on other things because they're on neither end of that spectrum. I don't know. I'm just spitballing.
No,
here.
I know. It's just. It's just. I could be dead wrong, but it's just a theory that I've sort of.
I've never thought about it that way. That's interesting.
And then I look at like multi-generational living, and boy, the middle class would really be better served if we embrace that again instead of like constantly getting a new car and a new, you know, spending the resources to create independence,
right?
Instead of an interdependence.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, that's today's soapbox.
That's good. It's very interesting. I like it.
All right. So yes or no, billionaires should exist. You got to pick one.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yes.
Might as well. I mean, they may not do everything with the way, but I'm going to always side with the freedom thing.
I'm with you.
Yeah. Did we already do wild card?
We haven't done wild card.
All right, let's do wild card before we move to your lightning round.
All right. Does money change people?
Wow, there's a
two
theme.
of them back to back.
There's always
heck?
a theme. I'm telling you, it's the weirdest thing because there's a lot of questions in all of these, and I swear guests tend to pull the same thread. So you must have something to offer here.
I don't know if I have anything to offer. If you want a black or white answer, I'm going to say no. Money doesn't change people. People change people, right?
Yeah.
And your life experiences and what you go through definitely, you know, have an impact on how you develop and how you maybe therefore change. And money is an experience. Money is a life experience. Whether you've made it, whether you fell into it, whether you lost it all. Can it be a factor in, you know, changing people's values, their priorities? Maybe they lose sight of what once was important to them, and that has now changed. Yeah, absolutely. But, you know, I'm not here to say that, you know, money is the cause of that, right?
Right.
I mean,
money is neutral.
Yeah, right. It's not actively doing anything to you.
No,
right?
I mean, I could have $25 sitting right here. You're probably not going to morph into something different.
Correct, yeah.
Well, that doesn't have that power.
It's not changing me, but, you know, maybe my perceptions or my experiences.
25 million, I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. You know, that could, you could see me run real fast if you set a stack of 25 million right there. But yeah, I think it's more about, you know, the person. And what do you choose to let affect you, and what do you choose to let quote unquote change you? When I use the word change, I think that's kind of ambiguous, right? Like, what does change mean?
Yeah, what does that even mean? Do they? So there is something called like the windfall effect.
Okay.
That if you suddenly come into money, whether it's lotto or inheritance, that you should literally not do anything different for 6 months minimum. Yeah. Because your mind should adjust.
I get that.
And did you ever watch the show Lotto Ruined My Life?
I have seen.
I mean, it's not on anymore, I don't think.
But yeah,
it is sort of fascinating. Yeah, and to me, it changed them in a way. Like most people think of it changing in a moral way. It just allowed them to say yes to everything. Yeah. And so then they just kind of did. But was that the bunny? No, they just had access to being able to do what they'd always wanted to do. And then it usually backfires in their face.
Another interesting one to study is athletes. And I think it'd be even more interesting to see today because now you have 18-year-olds coming into crazy money. Oh. Well, as opposed to, and not that 22 makes you any more of an adult than 18.
Even like, are you talking about even in college?
Yeah.
Like that, and by the way, they still get to go to school for free. And that I vote no. Yeah. I'm like, that is crazy.
But it'll be interesting to see because when you're 18, especially if you're an 18-year-old male or even a 22-year-old male, you know, a lot of those individuals, we're not fully developed at that point in time, right? So you don't have that discernment, like you're saying, to, hey, look, let's just let life develop like it normally would. Yeah. And I just know I've got this resource over here, but I'm not going to let it change what I would be doing with or without it, right?
Yeah. So have you ever, there's this video of Shaq. He's like with his buddies and they're talking about drinking and they're like, well, you don't drink. And he's like, I drink, but I drink at home. Mm-hmm. And they're like, why? And he's like, because this is my mom's house. Yeah. I'm not losing this. Like and you can tell really what he's talking about is get some sense about you. Like you are lucky to be here to have the deals that you have. Don't mess it up and go lose it all, whatever that is.
He's interesting. He's made some pretty smart moves.
Yeah.
When you really kind of look into what he's doing, like he has made some smart moves for himself.
Yeah. It's, It'd be interesting to look at, how people will trade, like how Congress trades.
Uh-huh.
I wonder if there's like buy-in deals for
athletes.
I
want to pick and choose my athletes for sure.
If they've made it 10 years,
yeah,
if they're still there, what are their business interests, and should I be involved in that? Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. So today's theme for you is money.
I guess so.
Windfall coming.
That's all right.
Yeah, windfall coming. That's what I think.
All right.
Do you
see.
Play lotto?
No, I don't.
10% here just because I
spotted
it.
Right, deal.
Okay, lightning round. Well, we already talked about this. That's funny because you told it in the story. I'm not even going to ask you, but you knew 4 years in that you were marrying her. When did you actually? That's not true. When did you actually know?
Oh, that's a hard question.
You've been with her since 14. When did you look at her and go?
We've talked about this before, and sometimes it's hard for me to even pinpoint a time. Was there ever a time when I never thought about her and I ending up together?
Right.
So
maybe
that's tough to put a pin in.
Yeah, she's like, I had the wedding book planned.
She probably would.
She probably did.
Yep.
She probably did. So, early dating years, a story that would absolutely embarrass both of you. I know some of them.
Do you know some of them?
I know some of them. So don't lie.
We did a lot of dumb stuff. The ones I like to tell are the ones that embarrass Megan, and she's not here, so that's
don't
not fair.
do that. She'll never let me. I'll never get out of the office alive.
We always did dumb stuff. We did the same stuff that every kid does.
Right.
Where we
Sneaking
would,
out.
Yeah, you tell your parents you're going someplace and you'd end up somewhere else. And my parents were pretty savvy because we had an alarm system on the house. So, my alarm, the house alarm was set at curfew. So anytime I wanted to sneak out, it was either I needed to have people over, and my parents would always leave the alarm off because they knew we were going to kind of maybe come and go or go outside or, do whatever dumb stuff teenage boys were doing. Or we would go over to a friend's house. And, sometimes we would have them over. Okay, I'll tell you, this does bring to mind one story. We had some girls over, Megan included, to a friend's house. I won't name them.
They shall not be named.
Their dad wakes up very early in the morning to go to work. And his routine was that he would come downstairs to check on all of us boys to make sure everybody was there, safe. And he had us under his care, so he felt responsible for us, right? What we would do then is hide the girls in an unfinished closet in the back of the basement.
So romantic.
Yeah, it goes great. I'm really taking care of my ladies here at this point in time. So they're there. We know it's about time for him to wake up. We push them in the closet, and they ended up being in there so long because he wasn't on his normal schedule like we thought he was going to be. They had to use the restroom in a trash can. That was
Stop.
No, this is true. Yeah,
that's amazing.
Yeah,
How long were they in there?
I don't know. I was pretending to sleep on the couch.
You're
Sandra.
like,
I don't know.
Right, he didn't wake up. We were
all
counting
just
the minutes.
Barely cracking our eyes open, being like, when is he coming downstairs to check on us?
That's amazing. I'm going to ask her about this story tomorrow. I can't wait. All right, you work at a construction and you work in construction and sales. How different is job site Jordan than home Jordan?
Can be different sometimes. Megan will tell you that, she hopes that I'm more organized at work than I am at home. And there's probably some truth to that.
Well, she's got it covered.
She's got, I get lazy on that side of it because I know she's got it covered. I shouldn't be that way.
Yeah.
But I recognize that I do that from time to time. I'm like, oh man, she's got this.
Yeah.
I'm not going to worry. I'm going to turn mine off because I have to work at it, right? Megan, not that she doesn't work at it because she works hard at it, but it's just part of how she's wired.
Yeah.
That's probably the biggest piece of it. Otherwise, I'm a relations guy. I like building relationships. That's what I have done in every piece of, I've done a lot of different things for Delta, and people have almost always been a part of it, and building relationships with people and then using that partnership to accomplish whatever it is that we're out to do. I was a project manager. I was a safety professional. I ran concrete plants, and now I'm in sales management. So all of those things, that's how I leaned on that to succeed,
Yeah.
I do that very similarly in my personal life and in my work life. So probably just more about the
work smarter, not harder.
That's right. Yeah.
Trust your team.
Yeah, I do that.
I like it. Okay, I have one last question, but we didn't even get to talk about your daughters.
Yeah.
So this is not even who are all beautiful.
Thank you.
They're all about 7.5 months apart, so that's weird. Not really, but they're pretty close together.
People are doing the math in their head.
They're like, wait, what? So what's it? Did you see yourself as a girl dad?
again, I was always pretty indifferent. Are we going to have boys or girls, right?
Yeah.
I was always pretty indifferent. I grew up with 2 younger sisters. They're 7 and 10 years younger than me. So I guess I kind of, I don't know. I didn't really think anything of it, right?
Right.
I think Megan wanted a boy more than I did, because she grew up with a brother. So maybe, the experience was similar.
Dynamic.
Yeah. Right. But it's been great. I mean, we've had a lot of fun. My girls are, I tell you what, there's just with any child, I shouldn't say it's because they're girls, but, raising independent, go get them, like hardworking, full speed girls is a lot of fun.
Well, you have certainly done that.
That's them. Yeah. And we there's some purpose behind that. Megan and I make sure that, we want our girls to be resilient, and, we want them to be resourceful, and we want them to be able to, Megan and I both are relationship builders, right? So, we want that for our kids too. Maybe they inherited some of that genetically, but also we predispose them to that. We expose them as much as we can to whatever we can. So
yeah. I don't know your dad, but I do know Laura and Steve, and they're both relationship people, right?
Yep.
And your dad probably is too. Like, you don't build a business and be a part of the community and not be that. But so yeah, maybe some DNA, but I still say you're the best hype dad out there.
A lot of learned behaviors, right? We learned it from our parents, and hopefully our kids are learning the right things from us. I mean, not picking up on the wrong things, because there are some, but...
Yeah, there's always that. Oh, they'll show up. Believe me, you're going to be like, wait, I don't do that.
I recognize this.
Yeah. Where'd they get that from? Okay, last question. What's the one thing that you feel like you could still do better as a husband?
Oh, a lot of times it's about selfishness. I want to make things about me sometimes. If I'm upset about something, then we all need to be upset by it. Or if I'm just not feeling into it, then, I'm just not going to give it my all today, right? It's just about selfishness. Sometimes that creeps up. And as I said before, kind of what has made Megan and I work is that, it's not just about you. It's about us as a unit, right? So Megan and I and the girls. So that would be the one thing I think, and when I say that, like with the organizational piece, I think with the selfishness kind of that creeps into any of those issues, because it causes all kinds of issues, that, I don't have to be organized because Megan is, and
she's got it.
I can kick back today. I'm not going to worry about that stuff. And that's not fair.
Do you know who the comedian Leanne Morgan is? Blonde,
I've
a
heard
little bit
the
older.
name.
So she's got a bit where she's talking about her husband, and she's like, oh my God, he's so smart. He's going to do this. He's going to make a great living, and I'm just going to get to play. She's like, about a year in, it dawned on me that he was really smart at work. And then at home, she's like, surely I'm not in charge of all of this.
Yep.
And, that's a lot of times how that works out. But
we have to work at it. We have to make sure that I'm not just allowing her to do it all on the organizational and logistic piece of it, So it's something I constantly do have to remind myself of. It's like, because oftentimes I'll get immersed in work,
right.
Or anything else going on in my life, and just be able to comfortably turn off on the back burner, like, home's taken care of. We're
all good.
And that's
I know she's not going to let us fall.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Well, that's good awareness.
Well, I can get better at practicing.
I'll check in with Megan to see how you're doing.
Yes. Yeah, do that.
I'll be like, send you a text. Hey, you might want to sleep with one eye open, dude. Just kidding. Well, Jordan, thank you for being on.
Thanks for having me. It's a lot of fun.
Good. I had fun too, and I'm just really happy to know you both and your sweet little family.
We were happy to have you.
One of my favorite Megan stories is when I walked in the office when I wasn't working there for one brief, and Rachel said, I love telling people this. Megan is pregnant again. And I was like, get out of here, you're kidding. And then Megan started crying. I was like, oh, she is.
Yeah. Oh, boy.
But
Here
now
we go
look
again.
at you.
Yeah.
Now look at you.
Yeah, we're doing it.
Well, to all the listeners, once again, thank you guys for showing up, for listening. Really appreciate it. If you liked us, if you heard something, give us a review, give us a share, send it to somebody. My hope is that you felt like you were with friends and created a little connection in your life. So keep on connecting and talking to your people, and give it, what's the song? Where's the love? Go give the love. Light the world. Thanks for listening.